All right, welcome back to Conscious Evolution. I'm your host, Alan. I was trying to record a video outside and the wind was just way too much. It kept distorting the audio. So we're in here with the blue background. I hope you enjoy. So I wanted to do a quick video. It's kind of preface what was the inspiration for my last video that I posted. Talking about my feelings and such, that I was going through a tough time. And it was really confusing to me because ever since I've been on this path of enlightenment, that never happened to me like that before. Like, I was having intense anger and triggers for thoughts that just I couldn't escape. Like, it was just constant revolving door of these thoughts that were triggering me. Excuse me. So they were, I've been down some dark roads with my thoughts, and I've dealt with them, and I know, I am not my thoughts, feelings, or emotions. I am not my beliefs. I know I can usually separate myself from them and dive into it and see where and how am I perceiving these that are causing me to think this way, or what am I lacking within that's making me feel some kind of way about this, And I wrote pages and pages of my feelings about this particular topic that I was going through, and I kept bringing myself out, and it was like extra hard to bring myself out. I'm just figuring maybe it was the energies that were here, and I'm just going and going and going, and it's like, I finally get back into my vortex. And that's when I made the video. I was out of it, and I was feeling good, and I was happy. And not an hour after that, I was boom right back into it. Thought was triggered, and it was a bunch of thoughts. It was like, I can't think of it, like a freaking merry-go-round. It just kept going around, the same thoughts that kept getting triggered. If that one didn't work, it would go down to the next one. If that one didn't work, it'd go down to the next one. And I started realizing at first, like, the law of attraction, I've been dedicating time to diving into this deep, dark feeling that I was having. And I would get to a point to where, like, okay, that's probably part of the cause, and dive into that. And I kept going and going and going. All the while I was getting angrier. Usually, and every other time I've done it, it's the more I realize and the more I can shift my perception and more I feel better. But I kept getting worse, angrier. I didn't understand until I think it was later that day. Yeah, that same day or night, maybe the next day, I don't remember. But it was like I felt like I was literally being tortured inside. Like, I was going insane over like one thought, over one situation that I looked at 1,000 different ways, and none of them were in the good light. It was like I was really having a rough time of it. I really didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what my future was going to hold with this particular topic. And I was like, I was so close to like feeling defeated, like just to walk away from all of it, because I was that fed up with it. Like, I'm tired of thinking these thoughts. I'm tired of this. So that I went out to the store and trying to get my mind off of it, and I couldn't. I just kept coming back, and I was in the car, and I just like screamed. I just yelled as loud as I could. I was like, why? Like, why does this keep happening? Like, what am I missing? What is going on? What the fuck? And basically was like crying out for my guides and spirit to help me. Like, I do not understand what is going on. Like, how is this happening? Like, this has never happened to me since I've been in this new energy, consciously in this new energy. So I go through, and then I'm angry again. I just scream. I don't like raising my voice, and like I screamed so loud, like I lost my voice. It was like gone for like an hour, and it was intense, man. I was really going through it, guys. I was really going through it. So I get out of the car and I start to walk in the store and I stop. I get back in the car. I turn on the healing demo that I recorded a couple days ago, last week, and sat back and started meditating and, receiving healing frequencies and centering myself and going through it. So I could get to a good enough place to where I at least was shining my light around the people I saw in the store. I had to completely remove myself from these thoughts, and it helped. Still wasn't as happy as I normally am. So normally freaking joyful, normally in a bliss town state, like that's how I like and prefer and do live my life, in a state of just bliss. And I love it. And I want to follow my highest excitement all the time. And so, yeah, so I go in the store, come out, and I was finally heading home. And Luna Ash released a video. She posted a video that was called, I think it was called Entity Attachments. And I listened to the video. And about 3/4 of the way through it, and like something she said, she was describing this entity attachment, which essentially is a thought form that is attaching to a host or something, that it's triggering those thoughts. It's a thought form, and it's however it's doing is triggering a thought in your mind to create that energy of anger or lack or sadness, whatever it is, that energy. Like, and especially if you're a light worker, I feel like it's increased tenfold, because they're really gonna get that light out of you. Like, you're gonna drain your energy, and I felt drained. It was like, from what I hear, it's like a dark night of the soul. Like, it was that much energy I expended going through this, and wow, but listening to her video, and what she was saying and how she was describing it, it clicked. It exactly described what I was going through to the T. Like, like the different layers of the thoughts, and deeper and deeper and deeper it would trigger. If that didn't work, it'd trigger a different thought. If it didn't work, it'd trigger a deeper thought. It just goes deeper down the hole until it gets that reaction at once, and boom, they got their buffet. Now, this I'm going back and forth about if I should even post this video, because people fear things like entity attachments, but it's really not like, what a lot of the people out here that are talking about it would lead you to believe, like it's a reptilian that's attached to you and sucking out your life force or something. Like, I don't see it that way. I see it as like literally a thought form. It's an energy, it's a consciousness that feeds on your light, but it's also there to teach you something. It's attached to you because you need to learn something, and you open that door. So it's exposing where you're weak, or what you need to work on. I don't want to say weak. Exposing where you need to go, where you need to dive into, what you need to look at to get out of that. And I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot really fast. It felt like it was 3 days that I was going through this. It was like 36 hours. And it felt like a long time. I did not enjoy it. So the way Luna Ash describes it, and it resonates with me pretty well, that, and I have other friends that talk about this also, about entity attachments, and it makes a lot of sense. It really resonates. That would be, I've even heard Cryon talk about it to a degree, but no, I don't think he talks about entity attachments, but he does talk about, dark energy, and this is absolutely a spiritual battle that we're in, and it's a battle for your spirit. And if you're a light worker and you're awakening and you're on your path, like, they're absolutely going to try to bring you down. They're trying to feed on your light, and it's exhausting. And I'm worried because this is happening more and more. The more and more paranormal stuff is really starting to come out. And I think a lot of people are really going to lose their minds, unfortunately. Like, if you're not mentally prepared, like, this is going to be tough moving forward in the next several years. You know, you don't have to do anything. You have free will. You can do what you want. But in my opinion, everybody should be aware of this. You should be aware that this is a possibility if you let your guard down, if you let those thoughts in, if you entertain those thoughts. And then looking back, when I went to California last time, same thing. That's exactly what happened. And it was about 2 days before I shifted out of it. Maybe a day. Yeah, it was about 24 hours that I shifted out of that one. And it's probably the same thought form, same consciousness is still hanging around. I gotta do a lot of work yet, but each time that experience teaches me something. You know, when I feel fear or anxiety, it's like I'm starting to think and recognize that that's showing me something. So if I can get to the point in the moment when I start to feel anxious to get curious, like, interesting, I'm feeling anxious. What is this trying to show me? What is this? What do I, what is this showing me? What am I to learn? Where are my thoughts at that are causing me to feel this way, And now that I feel like I'm aware, because the second I became consciously aware of what I was experiencing was a thought form attachment, triggering thoughts that weren't even mine, because I don't have those kinds of thoughts that I was having. Like, I'm telling you, it was dark. It was really dark. And it was weird because in the moment, I knew those weren't my thoughts, but I still couldn't shake it. I couldn't. It just kept coming. It was so intense, man. But yeah, the second I realized what it was, and I heard Luna Ash speaking of this, it was like boom, gone, just gone, hasn't come back. Sure, it's still lingering. Luna Ash also said something else that actually kind of frightened me at the time, and sorry if it frightened you. If you don't like paranormal things and you get frightened easily, you probably don't want to listen to this. But Luna Ash said that she can see, clairvoyantly, or whatever that's called. I'm still learning all that stuff, but she says she can see these thought forms, and it's like there's thousands of thought forms in the corner of your room, in every room, wherever you are, especially if you're a light worker. I'm sure there's thousands in the corners of your room just waiting for you to open that door to allow them in, to where they can and start triggering those thoughts. And Steve Noble, if you're familiar with him on YouTube, he has a lot of really good meditations. So far, he's my favorite guided meditation person out there. And I found him through Luna Ash and her guided meditation for manifesting. That's a great one. Great one. I manifested some very powerful stuff in a good way with that meditation. It's the first time I ever did a meditation. I did it for like 3 weeks straight, and it was the first time I ever committed to doing that. And at a certain point, I just felt like I was good and I didn't need to do it anymore. And then about a week later, what I was thinking of manifesting showed up in my reality. And it wasn't like something small, it was huge. It's crazy how things work out. I could have never have even conceived that that was possible. That's like praying for a check and meditating and manifesting a check for 10 grand, and then you get a check for 10 grand, out of nowhere. That hasn't happened to me yet, but I've heard people say that, and I believe that that's possible because of what happened with my manifestation. I'll tell you about it one day. So yeah, entity attachments. It's not to be feared. Don't be afraid of it. We all have them. Every one of us. Especially if you're maybe not every one of us, but most people have entity attachments. Especially like if you're a smoker, you're smoking. That addiction is a thought form that's latched on because of that. If you're in any kind of addiction, I mean, as little as your caffeine, addicted to caffeine, addicted to drugs, alcohol, you drink. If you drink just socially because you feel like it, and there's a voice in your head that's saying, yeah, it's okay just to have one drink. It's an entity attachment. If you drink a lot, I mean, it's still an entity attachment. Doesn't matter what caliber it is, but in my opinion, alcohol really lowers your vibration and it really puts you in a dark place, vibrationally speaking, energetically speaking, because last year I drank maybe 4 or 5 times. And like the first time was like 5 shots and I was pretty well lit because I don't drink. It's not my thing. It's never been my thing. I had to deal with somebody that's a heavy drinker for a long time and it kind of really repulses me now, even the smell of it. But even before that, it really wasn't my thing, you know. I, anyways, so and then like the last 4 times, like 3 of them, like each time I drank, it got less and less. So I had like 5 shots, and then I had like 4 shots, and then three. It kind of just worked out well with those numbers. I don't really know how many shots I had, but for example and analogy purposes, let's go with that. So the last 2 times I drank, the one I had like 2 shots, and I felt terrible the entire next day. I didn't get drunk by any means. I was well hydrated. I ate. And then the last time, and yeah, the last time I took one sip of rum, one sip, just right out of the bottle, not even a full shot. I felt like shit the next day, all day. So that made me start looking into that a little deeper. And this is really before I was fully aware of like this healings and everything that I've been getting into and had my vision and all that. It was before that. Um, yeah, I think it might have been. It was still hot out last year. It was still in like fall. It was the last time I did that. I took a sip of alcohol, and that was. Eesh, I have no interest in doing it ever again. And that's later what I found out that I was awakening and becoming and stepping into my my role as a light worker on this planet in this ascension, and that little bit of alcohol must have just allowed that attachment, that thought form to come in and really just suck a lot of energy out, you know. And I was I had a full out hangover the next day. And like I said, I was hydrated, I drank fine, and it was bad. So now I don't do it. And I don't understand, and this is just me personally, I'm not even gonna get into that. I was just gonna say I don't understand how people like socially drink, just have a drink or two. If you're aware of these things, like if you're aware how the alcohol is lowering your vibration and allowing these things to feed on you essentially. And I really don't like things that take me out of a clear mindset because I really like being clear headed, having a clear level mind that I can be consciously aware of what I say, what I speak, and I speak with intent and I speak with purpose. I speak on purpose, you know. I really work on holding every thought captive and I analyze every thought, sometimes a little too intensely, especially when I was in that angry state and I dove so deep. So, like I said, I needed to know something. I needed to learn something. I needed to know that I was lacking in myself because that's how I got to the mind, that space, that mindset to allow this thought form to attach on and be able to trigger me and actually make me angry for like the first time in a year. Like the only time I've gotten angry is like when I lost my patience with the kids and I just get angry and like yell, which I haven't really done that in a while either. If I do, it's like just one real quick, like, ah! Like just stop it. But I really don't have to do that, you know, because I keep a calm, level head, and I talk to them like they're little adults, you know, like no matter how outlandish the stories are, you know, encourage that imagination and be of like mind with them. Oh, something else I wanted to say. The other morning, after I transmuted this entity thought form thing, and I've been learning a lot more about them too. I got out of the shower and I was, you know, getting my hair all purified and stuff, making it look all nice. And when I was putting the stuff in my hair, I kept seeing like this little shadow move in the background, like through the mirror. It was kind of cool. It kind of creeped me out for a second because I didn't know what it was. But that's what I mean. I think these paranormal things are going to really start ramping up. And the light on this planet is really, really like, it's not going to be stopped. You know, the consciousness of this planet is elevated to such a level that there's no going back. You can't go back once you're awake. Sorry. Sorry. You can try not to learn about these things, but the more you experience, the more you realize, and the more you follow your intuition and your excitement, the more you're just going to be catapulted through your path. And it's like, if you wake up now, like I had my awakening, what I consider my spiritual awakening, last October, and it's June. And look at all the crap I've done. Look at everything I've done in that short amount of time. It blows my mind. I feel like it's moving so slow though. But then when I look back and like reflect on everything that's happened in this less than a year, it's really quite astonishing. It's really amazing what you can do when you set your mind to it. When you are no longer willing to accept things that are not in alignment with your highest good, and you just kind of shed all that stuff out of your life. And it seemingly happens almost overnight, but you know, it took several months for me. All right, I don't know. I'm just rambling on now. Thanks for listening, guys. Tomorrow I'm having interview with Brian Divisions, part 2. Hopefully we got better internet connection this time, and we'll see what we can bring to the table for you guys. He's a cool dude, man. He's a cool dude. He's so awake. He's so enlightened. Like, blows my mind. I've been watching a lot of his videos, and he's had some pretty intense experiences. And it's very cool. Can't wait to talk to him about it. All right. Again, I'm rambling. Sorry. I love you guys. Be the change that you want to see in this world. And if you're interested in the healing, oh yeah, thank you for the participants today in the healing session that Africa and I do every Sunday. If you're interested in participating in next week's healing session, then we're actually, you know what, I'll still honor it. If you're interested in participating next week, please donate $33 to the PayPal link below, and we'll schedule you for next Sunday's group healing session. I think that's it. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Nespat całej nocy, nikoho neprosit v hlavě jenom sny, peníze nespí nikdy, jak můžu spát já, to je ten grind, všechno co znám je jenom grind, cesta je cíl, je to těžký, lehčí je to vstát, grind, všechno co znám je jenom grind, cesta je cíl, je to těžký, lehčí je to vstát. It's all about the life that I'm building. The grind never stops cause I'm willing to go into the depths of my soul, cause I know that there's gotta be a root to this feeling. When I feel like I'm about to short out, feel like I'm about to give in to my doubts, like I left my life behind with no room to find that the time that I live is right now. The dark is a shroud, a cloud which allows nothing in your life but fear fear and worry, these doubts will take your vision, your dream, if you let them in, make it blurry. So no holding back, it's the time to act. I'm mind, body, spirit, so I find the gaps. Always gotta move towards my fears. It appears that I'm here to grind and find the strengths that I lack. So choose hopeless or choose focus. Your outcome shows us your thoughts are soundness. You will close in or you will open. Your spirit knows this, but your mind won't show them. And now you know them. As your fears, demons, and doubts, just integrate them and show them that the future's coming here and relieve them out. And I'm all about expansion, growth, and discovery. I see my life as a blank canvas that my thoughts are coloring. I've been wondering how this life happens as I see that we are the fractions of divinity through synchronicity. This universe helps to guide my actions.
Spać całej nocy, nikoho neprosit. Neprosit v hlavě jenom sny, peníze nespí nikdy. Jak můžu spát já, to je ten grind. Všechno, co znám, je jenom grind. Cesta je cíl, je to těžký, lehčí je to vzdát. Grind, všechno, co znám, je jenom grind. Cesta je cíl, je to těžký, lehčí je to vzdát.